Hey guys, it's Cisco Spider, and I'm not one of those people who spends their whole entire life on Netflix and only watches things that are on Netflix, since if you did not know, I collect DVD and Blu-rays. But recently Netflix has been releasing their own content, and even their own cartoons, and one of them is BoJack Horseman, a Netflix exclusive. The whole show is based on BoJack Horseman, since that's the name of the title. BoJack is a has-been actor who was on a 90s sitcom that was kind of like Full House. And the whole show is about the decisions that BoJack makes to try and get back into the spotlight, but also trying to find happiness, which he cannot find at all. What I like about the show is that it takes full advantage of being an adult cartoon. It's not like one of those adult cartoons that, is all about sex and just being so maturely immature. This actually has depth into it, and it's maturely mature. And the show has a lot of adult situations. I don't mean like, oh, this guy's trying to have sex with this girl, or is trying to do some drugs or something maturely immature. The show actually shows how much life sucks in an adult way. The series clearly shows how much life sucks, and that, if you make one wrong decision, it can just end up changing your life forever. And although, yes, this show has a lot of sex and drugs and swearing, it is still very mature, and it really makes you think about life and just how depressing life is. And the show has a lot of mature and sometimes deep things that, kids' cartoons can do, and sitcoms writers are way too lazy to put into their crappy sitcom stupid show. And the show makes you think. I don't mean like a school type, book type, smart type way, but in a way where they say all these profound and deep things about life, and you're just there like, whoa. Thinking about, how you're gonna be in like 20 years, and maybe something that you decide, tomorrow might change how you live in 30 years or something if you live that long. Maybe a decision you make in 1 week can be the demise of you. And not a lot of shows, especially adult cartoons, can make you just stop and think. And that's why I think BoJack is one of the greatest pieces of arts. Because, that's what art is. It makes you just think and appreciate it. And that's what I do when I watch the show. And what makes all these adult and mature situations so great are the characters. Of course, the main character is BoJack Horseman. And like I said, he is a has-been actor who was in a 90s sitcom that everyone loved, but then after that he hasn't really been doing much except for maybe one thing, which I'm not going to say because that's kind of a spoiler for season 3. And although, yeah, it does seem like it's hard to relate to BoJack Horseman since he is a has-been actor and he can be a jerk at times, but he still is very relatable since he's a human, although he's a horse. But, he's just someone who wants to find happiness, and although all the decisions he makes, although he thinks will be the best decisions, turns out to be the worst ever, which leads him through all these awful situations and all these awful decisions he has to make in the future. And that's kind of what life is, just a horrible decision after another, and a lot of people can relate to that. Plus, through all the development he gets through these 3 seasons, he is just a very likable character. And although in the first few episodes of the series, yeah, he can come off as a big jerk, and yeah, in the 3rd season, he is still a jerk, but you get to sympathize for this character and just see how awful BoJack's life is, and you just care a lot for this character. Because at the beginning of the season, he does come off as your typical Hollywood jerk, but then through season 2, or the end of season 1 and season 2 and season 3, we see him go through all these depressing things and all these decisions he makes, and it just makes him a very likable character, and one of the most three-dimensional characters in any cartoon, and definitely one of my favorite cartoon characters of all time. And as for the other characters, at first they're just there to help BoJack become a better person, but then throughout this first season and throughout the whole series, they become very likable and just fun characters that get their own subplots here and there, and you just love them as much as you love BoJack too. And although, yes, a lot of the episodes are episodic, each season has their own giant plot with a lot of side plots throughout it. And sometimes, side plots carry into other seasons, and sometimes they get, they wrap up in the same season that they're introduced. And that's what, these subplots and the main plot and the subplots, that's what makes these characters so likable through all the things that we see them go through. And just these characters in general are just amazing, and I don't think there's just one character that I don't like. All these characters I have a giant bond with throughout the whole series so far, and even those characters that aren't really in much of the show, a lot of them I still really like. BoJack Horseman is definitely one of my favorite cartoons of all time, and probably my favorite thing on Netflix so far. Definitely my favorite Netflix original, but possibly my favorite show on Netflix, including the things that they bought that other networks own. Sadly, there are no DVDs or Blu-rays of this show, so if you don't have Netflix, then normally I don't say this, but and if you do have Netflix, please do watch the show, but if you do, don't just like watch the first 2 episodes and be like, it's not so good, let's watch F is for Family or Scrubs or whatever show you watch. Try and watch all 12 episodes, and season 1's only, well, every single season so far is only 12 episodes, so try and watch the first 12 episodes, and if you don't like it, then don't continue watching it, but the show is amazing throughout the first season. I mean, like, the first few episodes were meh, but then once you get all the development between all these characters, and BoJack just becomes a likable character, and that's when the show starts shining. Although, after you watch, like, the 3 seasons and go back to the first season, it's still enjoyable. The first few episodes are still enjoyable. So yeah, I'll stop rambling. I'm the Disco Spider. Peace out.